Plastic surgery makes me feel away. Welcome as we discuss episode 6 of season 2 of American Horror Stories, Facelift, starring Judith Light and the indelible Britt Lower. Plastic surgery has long been in the American psyche as something to be feared, whether you fear the surgery itself or the not knowing how it turns out with the actual padding and bandages all over you. Even series like Nip Tuck, or even the classic episode of Twilight Zone, such as Eye of the Beholder, discuss this type of fear. What will the unveiling of the bandages show us? And so here we are in this tale where Judith Light, another one of Ryan Murphy's beloved. I love it that Ryan Murphy collects people of all ages, shapes, and sizes and sexualities to be in his reoccurring theater group. And of all people, you never would have guessed, but the class act known as Judith Light is in there. And so we saw her in The People vs. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. We saw her in The Assassination of Gianni Versace. We've seen her in a few other Ryan Murphy things, but never with a starring role and never with horror. And it was great to see this. Now, I think a lot of people felt that it was a really not shortened, but boring episode. And I admit they kind of expanded Act 1 a little too long. But I did understand this. This is a perfect setup. A woman dying to get what she's dying to get, and she'll do anything to get it, which leads the avenue open for any horrific tales to happen. Absolutely anything. And she, of course, has this beautiful, lovely stepdaughter, Britt Lower, who's from Severance. If you have not seen Severance, that is in the horror thriller realm, and one of the best series I've seen all year. I highly recommend this series. But Britt Lower is also from Man-Seeking Woman. She is really, I've never seen her in anything bad. She's an American treasure. And here she is. She's playing the stepdaughter, trying to be there, trying to help Judith Light through this hardship where she feels that she's ugly, a wealthy woman who's ugly. She ends up going to a mysterious, shady plastic surgeon who is literally one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. I don't know who that actress is, but I need to look her up. She just looks, she actually makes Gal Gadot or Wonder Woman just look like a plain Jane, man. She just had it all, and she was good. She had the right amount of shady and all these things. Now, at the end of the tale, it ends up that the plastic surgery is all designed to make her look like some sort of boorish creature. Earlier in the story, if you actually look in as she was entering the plastic surgery thing, they have a mosaic on the wall of ancient hunters attacking a giant boar, and they have literally turn this poor woman into a boar, and they tell her if she can make it to the ocean, she will be set free. And honestly, they waited for the last 10 minutes to put that in. Honestly, they should have taken the resort and all the actual horror aspects. That's the first moment of true horror that we get. We get a few scares along the way. They save it for the last 10 minutes, and I think it would have been stronger if that reveal was literally halfway point of our story. They could have shaved a lot off in the beginning, although I was glued to my TV because we're anticipating what's under the bandages. Now, they have to kill her, and when they actually do finally kill her, my super complaint is kind of stupid. It was not gory enough. It did not have enough blood and guts and all the wonderful things that make American Horror Story or a horror story great. If you're not going to get me mentally, then you just curdle my stomach physically by putting something disgusting on the screen. And I know Ryan Murphy and the boys do not shy away from that. There have been some really disgusting kills in the history of American Horror Story, let me tell you. I just wish that it was more of it. And then, of course, and this has been a lot of these have been happening like this. This seems to be a staple of American Horror Stories. That the final act, the true final act, the thing that happens with Britt Lower's character, the stepdaughter, is so out of left field that I felt I had teleported in another dimension where the original beginning of the story was something completely different. I was like, you did not foreshadow this at all. Isn't it your job to do some foreshadowing? Now, come on, bro. What's up? It was upsetting. It was upsetting. Here's what I'm saying. I actually would give this episode a B. I found it fascinating. I thought it was great. I just thought they could have gone to more horrific directions with it, particularly the hunt. The savage hunt after one person running through the jungle, you could have easily had a half an hour of that. This poor woman could have slowly been being more whittled and whittled. That could have been your true horror take. What this poor, wealthy, elderly woman is going through, running through a forest being hunted by some lunatics with spears. That could have been horrific if they had just given it enough time to blossom. And so there are, I believe, still 2 more episodes residing in this season. And then we also have to do our major long wait for season 11 of American Horror Story, which we all know that's what we're really waiting for. This is here just to wet our whistle. I think ultimately, as a series, I think it's all right at this point to talk about what it is as a series. American Horror Stories, at its basis, has a lot of good horror in it. Just the executions seem lazy. I wish in the future someone could take these stories and redo them. And do remakes of them. Make maybe a companion series, a remake series 10, 15 years down the line, where somebody could actually give these classic horror tales the love and nurturing that they deserve. But it was great to see Judith Light. It was always great to see Britt Lowe, if you know what I mean. But other than that, the real question is, what did you think of this episode? Please let me know down in the comments. And thank you for tuning in as always. It is always a pleasure. Until next time, ta-ta for now.